Protagonist's name is Harlow. So Harlow is an 8-year-old girl. In this story, she's trying to face one of her largest fears along with dealing with the death of her father. So the goal for Harlow in the story is for her to overcome this fear without having that support of her father anymore, along with dealing with the fact that her mother has completely checked out emotionally since the death of her father. So in the beginning, Harlow wins a essay contest that she participates in at school. And what she doesn't know is that the prize for the essay contest is to present her essay in front of the whole third grade class at an assembly. So when she finds out that she has to present this essay in front of everybody, she's completely terrified and she's devastated um, by that being the prize. So what happens is Harlow goes through like a mini breakdown after finding this out, dealing with the stress of having to overcome this fear. Her teacher doesn't really understand why it's such a big deal. She feels like it's just nerves and Harlow should just be able to overcome the nerves. She's heard her speak before. She doesn't understand why it would be a big deal at this point. But what it was is Harlow's father, he used to work with her on speaking and reciting and her pronunciation and her projection and her voice with public speaking. It was something that they worked on often. She is like her mother, where they both have an issue with confidence and a fear of public speaking. So her father also helped her mother get through this fear while they were in college together. So he's seen the same thing in his daughter Harlow, and he wanted to be able to help her overcome that at a young age. So it's something that they worked on frequently. So with him recently dying, Harlow is having a hard time doing these activities. She's having a hard time public speaking and working on speech. She's still a good writer, but she doesn't really want to speak in front of people at this time. So there's a lot of pressure on her right now. So she gets really upset, and her grandfather is there. He's there to help the family after the death of her father, to support them and help with things around the house and help with the children, since her mother is going through a really hard time emotionally. She's actually taken the death harder than any of her children. Harlow has an older sister named Naomi. They're about 18 months apart. And then they have a younger brother named John Jr., who's named after their father. He's about 1 year old. And the mother, she's like completely, she doesn't interact with the children at all at this point. She's not really talking to them. Their grandfather is doing everything for them at this point. So Harlow really needs the support of her mom in this time, being as though she doesn't have her father there. But her mother's not talking to her. She doesn't respond to Harlow when she has to break down after figuring out that she has to do the essay contest, that she has to perform her essay for the school. She's not supportive of that. She's not responsive to how she's feeling. So the grandfather is the one who steps in to help the mother realize that she needs to be there for Harlow. She needs to be there for all of her children in this time. So Harlow goes ahead and she gets ready to perform in front of the school. And the day of, she's like looking out into the audience. She's really nervous. She's looking for her mother, any part of her family, to be out there to support her. She doesn't see anybody at first. Later on, when she comes out onto the stage, she does see her mother enter the building, and she feels this sense of relief, and she feels as though she can possibly go through with this, when a few minutes or a few seconds before, she felt as though she could possibly be on the verge of a nervous breakdown. So after seeing her mother, she feels this sense of relief, and she feels like she can go ahead and go through with performing this speech in front of everybody. So then she goes ahead and she performs it, and the audience is very taken back, and everybody's really surprised, and it turns out to be a really good speech. It's like a breakthrough for her, and she's able to overcome this without her father, so she can move on in her life and overcome her grief and overcome these fears. Her mother has finally realized that she needs to be there, so she's able to come out of her grief-stricken depression and be there for her children and work towards getting better mentally. And that's how the story will end, with Harlow performing her speech and her mom coming to realize that she really needs to be there for her children. Thank you.